finding it interesting how acceptance is actually not good sometimes. it's it did so I noticed that when I was telling you that I didn't feel anything. I was just stating fact. And after when you side with me, then that's when the feelings come. Um, and it's the feeling of see, I was not wrong for feeling anger or sadness about that situation.
This is Quest of Life. We are a not for profit offering free online peer support groups, and this is a demonstration of a facilitated group. So keep in mind that your experience might not look and or feel the same as this streaming group. Not every group can be the same, as every facilitator is different, and so are the group dynamics. That said, if you'd like to join a support group, you can join us through questoflife.org. And if you want to support us monetarily so we can run more free groups for more people, please also do that via our website, questoflife.org.
How is everybody?
Deja vu. Nervous.
Nervous. Yeah.
Excited.
How about you, Jake?
I am. My voice hurts, and that's annoying me. Yes. As far as the stream stuff, I'm not feeling too much either way. Maybe a hint of nervous, or a hint of anxious, not nervous. What's everybody nervous about?
I hope my dad's not watching this because he's in our server. So, Dad, if you're watching, stop.
He just wants to support.
Yeah, I know, but
It's
no.
fair. It can come later. Yeah.
How about you, Pam?
Hmm. I think I'm feeling kind of like my brain is like kind of fogged today, so it's like it's not thinking straight, and I think that's a weird experience. It's like I can't. Sometimes it's like I feel I can't think a thought through, so I'm really I guess curious, or like I don't know what the feeling is, but it's like it's scary but still kind of funny how it turns out. um, Especially when it's live. So yeah, I guess that's what makes me nervous, because I don't know where this is going. And
Well, I'm not nervous. Well, I wasn't, but now I'm nervous because my brain is stuck on octopus. I don't know how to transition.
Well, in that case, yeah. Do y'all just want to move to like more formal check-ins then?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Tom, you go first.
Okay. This week, it's been pretty hard actually, because part of it was that I had to rewatch last week's video multiple times to figure out what we could call it, and then like what the chapter should be for YouTube. And so like, I don't like watching myself or like listening to myself talk anyway. But then also like seeing all the defenses in action, like that was kind of painful to watch. Like seeing how much I'm laughing at things that aren't funny at all. And like, but I remember how it felt in the moment, and like it felt funny, but then seeing it from like a third person's perspective is weird and uncomfortable. And that, yeah, and there were lots of different versions of that where like I hadn't realized just how hard I'm working to try to feel safe until I saw it recorded. Like in the moment it just feels like, yeah, this is what it's like to talk to people. And then like, for example, there were so many moments where you'll try to validate something I was sharing, or just like relate, or had really good advice, and I sort of realized that I couldn't accept any of that because like that felt too difficult. So like it sort of feels like I kept fighting you on everything you tried to do to help, but not because like it wasn't actually accurate, or like because it didn't resonate, but like because it was too good in some sense. Yeah, so watching that was complicated, and then also that brought up a lot of feelings, so like I just spent a lot of time running and processing that this week. That's one part of it, and then the other part of it is like I quit one-on-one coaching 2 weeks ago, I think, and this week like it hit me really hard how much I miss my coach, and like I cried so much about that, which feels very embarrassing to talk about, but probably more than like in the last decade combined, I don't know, so that's also weird. You muted.
You can just assume I know I'm muted.
Okay.
Just as like a blanket statement.
Yeah. So that's been my week, and topic-wise, I would be pretty eager to like continue the conversation from last week, and especially the part about like how can I actually unlearn all the defenses. Basically like the homework questions that I got. Yeah. And do you want to go next?
No, but I will. What was this week? I started writing again, which is nice. I think I had just been, for a few weeks, I was watching a lot of YouTube and like shows. And it was good, but then, yeah, I hit that point where I felt like I started questioning my whole life purpose again. So I know that something that used to work is to write at least once every day. It's like self-coaching almost. So what had been coming up was just different angles of how I've been looking at the topic that I brought that I didn't quite bring, but I briefly talked about, which is like having a role and being useful in a group. So that's been very interesting to understand more. It feels like the more I understand what that's like, or where that's from, the more I feel like I have control over how to over the reaction. Like when I have that feeling in a group, like I notice right away, and I can do something, regulate, get out of it. So that's been been nice. I don't think I have a topic for today. Pam.
I think my week has been kind of a blur because I have been procrastinating all week, and I have really like just collected all my tasks this Sunday. So that's definitely something I'm gonna cramp through later. So I guess that's like an acknowledgement that I know I shouldn't do it, but I feel like it's still happening, and I'm trying to figure out why it's happening. Because when I take the time to actually sit with it, I know it's like, I guess it's some kind of denial of being like procrastinating and then denying the procrastination. Um, yeah. And what I was trying to say by that is that I do experience that it just takes up a lot of mental space. And that might be, like, in hindsight, what is happening right now because I've procrastinated all week. For the topic, I would like to continue with what we talked about last time, because it did resonate a lot, and um, yeah, I'm curious to dig deeper into it. Yeah, that's my check-in.
Cool. So it sounds like you guys just want to focus on Tom again. How? Yeah, I guess how long do you want that to be? How? Yeah, just what would you like? Because I did hear, like, we can talk about Pam's procrastination. We can talk about like the life purpose stuff with Anne. So we have other topics, but yeah, I'm curious if you just want another dedicated session to Tom, or if you want to like split it, or yeah, how would you prefer the session to go?
I was thinking to focus on the topic and then maybe take Tom as like an initial way to open up the topic. Um, because at the same time, I was just thinking as a broad topic because I relate so much, so I would be able to like pitch in as well. And now when I revisit the question, it's like I think that also might be a reason why I procrastinated, because I find it hard to do a task when not feeling supported. So that would be like kind of into the topic.
You said I find it hard to do a task when not feeling supported, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Any other opinions about the structure of today's session?
I'm happy to go with Tom's topic. Go from there.
Tom?
As in, do I have a preference, or I'm okay talking about it more. I'm also, as long as it doesn't become like a regular thing where it, like I bring topics and then it's just me. Like if there's something else that's making it hard to like want to talk about your topics, for example, then maybe that would be a good thing to explore as well. So if it's literally just your preference for whatever reason, like I'm okay with it, but if there's something else that's getting in the way, then I don't want to like just take up all the space and not talk about maybe like what could be getting in the way.
For me, I think I'm always, up for talking about my stuff. But literally today, I would have to think about what to talk about. So it's not very well defined. Nothing feels urgent. My internet.
any other opinions, or do you want to just like jump straight to the Tom stuff?
You're not frozen
No.
on my end, Anne. Can you hear us?
She might have lost us.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're frozen on hers.
Oof. 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 I don't know. Okay, we'll just jump to the Tom thing. So, yeah, what about last week's session would you like to continue on?
Well, so we stopped, or like you asked a question along the lines of like, how do I actually heal from the part that feels like there's stuff that's too, I don't know, too much to show to other people. Something along those lines. And so I think the answer is actually finding a way to feel the things that I'm avoiding, but also that feels impossible. So it's, I remember, well, I noticed when I was rewatching it at one point in the session, you said that I think it kind of sounded like a thing to do would be to call out, like if we're talking about something, if I start feeling like, okay, maybe I kind of want to cry, but also like I don't want to, and have a meta conversation about that as like an in-between step. But yeah, I think like part of it is actually just like finding a way to feel it and then have corrective experiences where it doesn't turn into the worst case scenario.
Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
Pause.
Everything's misaligned.
Yes. I'm like, what would you like to do from here?
Is Anne responding in chat at all?
I am
Oh, is it just video?
here. I
Yeah,
think.
Okay, it seems like it's working again.
I can see you and hear you now.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And at a normal rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could hear you
Okay.
the entire time.
Oh. But you couldn't see me?
I saw you until you. Well,
Oh.
Yeah, we
True.
can see you.
True, Raymond.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm back.
Okay, so do you want to just leave this in the formal recording for awkward purposes because it's funny, or do you want to like edit this out? I'm cool with either way. I think it's funny.
I'm okay with both. We can leave it in.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, you mentioned yeah, the like meta conversation and just in general not feeling safe to express the emotions, but they're them building up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And also more general, like how can I even just feel more of my emotions instead of pushing them away when we're talking?
Do you know when you're feeling emotions or pushing them away?
Sometimes. So when I'm pushing them away, it's harder to be aware of it because it's just a generic discomfort. But like when I did the check-in, I felt quite a lot.
Yeah. I'll actually back off a bit because I led a fair amount last session. Well, I feel I led a fair amount last session, so I actually want to give it to you guys because I think there is a lot of meat here, and I think you guys can support Tom adequately. So I want to give you all the space to do that.
Also, based on last week's conversation, it kind of like, again, when I rewatched it, it seemed like you kind of wanted to share how you relate, but then didn't, because like, what if it's not helpful? But I think I'm okay with you sharing, even like it doesn't have to be helpful.
You're talking to me, correct?
More Anne and Pam.
Oh, okay.
But
cool.
sure, if you want to share,
I'm
Jake, go for
I'm
it.
unsure if I relate. I may. I think I did at one point, but I relate to some of what you said. But regardless.
So you pose the questions. How is like, what's my solution? What do I do to not push the feelings away, and also to, what's the other one, to feel safe talking about it?
Yeah,
Or
letting people
expressing
see it.
Letting people see it. So whenever I hear questions, my brain goes to answers, which is usually not helpful because it's what worked for me. But you said it's okay to share. But also, I want to push back on that because, so I guess sharing is useful from my perspective for maybe other people watching or people in the group that is not you. But for you specifically, you have said that it's generally not helpful. And my goal is to support you, do something that's helpful for you. So I'm conflicted.
So this is the part where I don't know how it's supposed to work, because last time we talked about the like, or like Jake, you asked me the question of like, what do I want in a conversation, and doesn't that apply to Anne here as well?
So, taking a step back, this can be a pivot point. So I know you guys run groups. So like right here, you can pivot to Anne if you want, or you can stay with Tom because Anne is conflicted, and we can help to resolve her confliction, or we can like try to understand the confliction.
My
This seems
My
to be
project
making her
manager.
anxious or something.
No, my brain is planning. Now I feel like it makes sense to solve me first so that I can make a decision on how to support Tom. Because otherwise, I think I would sit back, because what I want to see, what I want this conversation to turn into is to be something helpful for Tom, less about me.
I'll just propose this topic then. We can. This is another pivot point. We can pivot to sacrificing yourself to be helpful for someone else.
Sounds good.
Okay, I have thoughts on that. And I don't think I'm sacrificing anything meaningful.
Cool. Yeah, Anne feels kind of indifferent right now, so I'm curious what Pam and Tom think. Like, where would y'all like to go? Because, as I said, I can endlessly spawn topics.
I don't think the direction matters as much. I think we should kind of like pick and go with one and dive into it.
I think it's fine to choose that one. I think it could maybe loosen up more and pitching in general.
I wonder whether, like, maybe Jake, could you like just get us started and then hand it over, like, for a few minutes?
Sure. Tell me about the need to be useful. I don't care who answers that. What happens if you aren't useful?
If I'm not useful in like helping Tom, for example, in this scenario, then I imagine he wouldn't bring stuff to us anymore because we're not helpful.
For me, I think if I can't be useful to people, then I don't understand why they'd want me around.
How would y'all label that? Because that feels akin to abandonment to me, but I'm unsure. Like, is it I'm afraid I'm going to get abandoned, or just like almost like purposefully left?
It's like I'm not worth people's time in the first place.
Okay. Any thoughts from you, Pam?
The last thing I heard was, I don't even remember. I am thinking that it sounds as a rough thought to have. Like for me, when hearing the thoughts, thinking that if I can't add value, it's like feels like not being worth other people's time. It sounds rough to, or I guess it sounds rough because for me it sounds like there is not the initial thought that people can enjoy company for just enjoying company, with just spending time together as a default. Like there is value in just accompanying people.
But doesn't that still require some amount of work where, like, I have to be good company?
I guess I'm thinking that there is a overlay or underlay, like there is an unconscious judge saying that things need to be this or that instead of just letting things be as it's. Like it has to be right or wrong, it has to be good or bad, instead of being like, I am just spending time with people and that goes however it goes. And then I can decide what I would like to do based on my experience. Like there is some kind of judge sitting up here deciding what needs to be done instead of Tom choosing what would I want. Can Tom choose, is it worth it? Is he allowed to choose that? That are my thoughts.
Yeah, it's like, how can I
Yeah.
figure out what they want?
Yes. And why does that matter? And I can say that like it's thoughts that spawn in my brain because I relate to it and I'm trying to working on not putting so much value in what other people think. And that's what I'm hearing might be happening here as well. What do you think about that?
It feels very accurate. And even like if it doesn't start off like that, so sometimes I will just do a thing because I'm interested in it or because it's fun, and then other people like it and they join. Kind of like with Quest of Life as well. But then over time it starts feeling like, I mean, I guess even from the start, it feels like they're showing up for a thing that I'm providing in some sense. Or like before Quest of Life, I ran loads of D&D games. And because that was fun, and I liked hanging out with the people that I played with, but it still felt like they're showing up, and partly because I've prepared a game, and like it's conditional, and the game needs to be there, otherwise it's not worth it to them.
And how does that affect you?
It works when the thing that I'm providing is aligned with what I actually want and what I enjoy, but it gets hard when maybe like I start burning out and then I can't do it anymore. So like whatever that strategy was to socialize is kind of off the table.
So it sounds to me like it's a way to socialize, but it gets to a point where it's not long, like it's no longer about socializing, it's about upholding the value you see people come for.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything in that picture? Or was that a
I think
fair
that fits.
description?
Yeah. And it often feels great. Like I love running D&D games. And I love what we're doing with Quest of Life, so it feels worthwhile, and I would be doing it even if like everyone left. I'd keep going. But yeah, I don't know what it could feel like if I didn't worry about what other people want at all.
I'm just tempted to ask, how would it feel like if other people like you said the question and I just wanted to like bounce it back.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how to imagine that, because if I forget about other people for a little bit, it will just come up as like, okay, now I feel guilty because I'm taking up too much space. Or like, the longer it goes on for, the more I start to worry about like, okay, have I used up my quota of like attention or space? And it feels very limited.
Do you have any thoughts, Anne, before us here?
I keep wanting to go back to the original topic. So I'm sitting here, like, thinking over what just happened. And so Tom said, it's okay that I share my experience. And then I said no. And then here we are. So then now I'm thinking back, like, I don't like that. And I just realized that that's part of me wanting to be useful, which is actually not my job here. It's Jake's.
Yeah, I need to be useful.
Yeah, so I just remember that I prepared to be here to be me and not to facilitate or be useful. I can be not useful, and then that's just what happens in a group. We see how it goes.
So then, do you have a sense of what you want?
Yes.
Please share.
Well, I'll share my experience.
I feel I would like to pivot to and stuff. I will just, I guess, model how to just communicate. So, this is my preference. I would like to switch to and stuff. Does anyone else have preferences? It's okay if they misalign with my preference too. No, they don't align.
I can start. For me, my preference is to go with the flow today. I don't have the brain power to try to work with my bad habits. And I think going with the flow also is helpful. Like, not that it has to be helpful, but I think it works for me today.
My preference is to share my experience and then go from there instead of switching to me specifically.
I don't know how to answer this question because in trying to answer it, I can see the whole thing about like what does everyone want just activating.
Yeah.
Like I feel a lot of urgency to figure out the emotion stuff, but not necessarily like right now in this session. But that's just like an ever-present thing of like I've been trying to figure this out for 2 years and made very little progress. But here it's like, yeah, it just feels like I need to want what everyone else wants.
I have a suggestion for what Tom is saying. It's just like I'm open to take your topic off camera or take it for another session as like a deep dive for another time.
I'm okay with that.
That's
And my brain's also calculating, like, we're floating around trying to figure out what to talk about for, like, half the session now, and I'm uncomfortable with, like, this has to be really boring to watch. Which is also about what other people want. And that's the strongest one, so it's like, actually, let's just pick and go.
I'm hearing we're going with. I'm actually not sure. Because I heard that Anne, like, so we're going with the topic that Jake suggested. It
I'm just
sounds
gonna
like
let you guys figure this out.
Anne, would you like to share?
Yes.
Go for it.
Jeez. I'm fighting with myself because now I'm like, it's just build it up so much. It's not gonna amount to anything. Okay. So question, how to feel safe expressing how you feel and how to feel more. That's 2 questions. Oh, okay. So then Jake asked if you notice when you have feelings that you're trying to push away. And my answer was from my experience, since like small steps. So it would be just to notice, and that's usually half the battle. I think I relate to like the urgency of like this has just been bugging me for so long, and I want to fix it now. And it feels like since it's such a big problem that there needs to be a big solution. And I've learned that not that I learned, but other people told me to take small steps and just like to notice it. It's good that you just notice, and that's all you do. Whatever happens after will just happen.
Yeah, it feels like there's like an immovable barrier, and I just want to bash through it.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't moved in so long. It's like I've explored most of the map, and then there's like another area that's locked off, and I just can't get the door to open.
Do you feel, to either of you, do you feel stuck and or behind?
Both.
Is it both or just one?
For me, it's not that I'm but I had a thing where I really thought that I would die in my maybe when I would be like 24 or 26. And so for me, I literally had no time to fix anything slowly and needed to fix it now. Yeah.
Can you tell us about that experience?
It's more of a drawn out thing where my grandma on my mom's side, she died young. So my mom, from that experience, also were convinced that she would die young. So she would prepare me for her death, her young death. And so that also made me feel like if my mom's going to die that young, I'll probably also die that young.
I'm really curious about that, but you said you don't want it to be a deep dive, so I don't know what to do.
No, I can do a deep dive.
Okay. Yeah, so what happened when you didn't die?
So that was 4 or 5 years ago now. And I'm still grappling with the fact that I'm alive still. And worse, I will be alive for quite a while. 60, 80 more years. I've been actually having this conversation with my mom as I share with her that I just realized that I have more to live, just more time. And she is now, I think, in her 50s. And she also just started thinking about, because she thought she would die in her 40s. So she's going through the exact same thing as me right now, where she's like, oh no, I still have like at least 40 more years to go. So now we have to figure out what to do with that time that we didn't plan for.
I'm just going to say this because it's hard for me to empathize without me saying it. So I heavily relate to this. It was instilled in me that I was going to die very young. Yeah, I've heard other people have this similar issue, and I think it's a very interesting problem. But that aside, okay. Yeah. So I guess like, what's the point in living now?
think so far for me, I've made a new list of things I want to do if I am to live another 60 years. Hopefully that will fill my time, but I don't know.
So I could foresee this conversation getting very existential. I am 100%
Yeah.
cool with that. I actually imagine you are too because of what happened. So, do you have something that you would like from this conversation?
On this topic specifically?
In general.
In general, so at the start, I wanted to figure out Tom's stuff. And now it's switching to me. I'm just happy sharing. I don't know where to go from there exactly because I don't currently have a problem with it that I can use your help with.
I'm curious about stuff, but because the primary function of this group is to support and like be of use, I guess. I don't know if you getting to share some of your experiences. I assume it'll be helpful, but I don't know.
I think my experience is it would be useful in future sessions if I refer to something in my past experience.
I'm just curious, like, what's your experience of life been?
It's pretty depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just like how you navigate the conversation feels like. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, what's been depressing about it?
I feel like, well, like you said, this is gonna go, and I can see Tom's face. Like, this is not funny. It's very serious. Yeah, but like growing up with that, and like I had a whole set of other like traumas that it's just not fun to live. Basically. Okay.
This is
The
hard.
general, yeah, like I'm imagining if my life is a painting, like the under layer is depressing, like it's just all bad. But then there are colors up top, so there are things I do enjoy in life. So it's not really a problem. It's just like that's a reality. That's my under painting, under layer of my painting. But I'm building nice stuff on top. I'm putting nice colors on it.
Can the depression layer be healed? Or is that just like an ever-present thing? Like, yeah, I'm also curious what that layer looks like, but
My conclusion so far is I have not lived long enough to know if it can be healed in a lifetime. But at the rate that it's been healing for me, it's a bit slow. It's very annoying. But I have more tools now to kind of have a sense that I have my way out if I really try hard. Like I have certain things I can try that maybe would work if I get too depressed. Instead of before, I didn't see a way out.
how sad are you now? Or depressed or hopeless or powerless? Or I'm not sure which flavor it is, but
Yeah, I would say not really, especially today. I'm very happy. I think it comes in waves. And it used to be longer waves, so like it would last like weeks on end. And now it lasts maybe like a day or two. The longest would be a week, and then I would get out of it, and it would be okay.
What are the themes of those days or weeks? Like, what do you think? What do you say? What do you feel?
I would get back to the default of like, I need to be useful because that's my only reason I have found to justify my living.
Interesting. So survival indicates fear, but you're talking about depression, which is sadness.
Mm. So I think it's fear first, and then depression comes when I reflect on why I'm sad. And yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm cool talking about the anxiety half. I'm cool talking about the yeah, I'll just give you a couple paths, and then if you wanted to go in any of them, I'm cool. I would enjoy whatever path. So I'm cool exploring the anxiety, or like how you learned you needed to survive. That's like the question there. The second one is I'm curious what you mean by depression. Like literally, what does it feel like? Are there like multiple emotions here? Is it just one? Yeah. Those are the main two directions. The third one is just like bringing everyone else in the group, because I think we're probably deep enough now where like everyone else can kind of start asking questions.
I am open to you just asking questions because I feel like I don't know how to engage in this topic.
I was
That's
curious
completely valid.
how you're feeling hearing that.
How I'm feeling? I would say it feels, and it's totally like my feelings attached to me, and I feel like I need to address that just to be sure it's not taken personal, because I think I could do that sometimes. So, to me personal, it feels uncomfortable because I worry that I'm not able to support or like engage. So I guess I'm split between just not knowing how to react or what to do. Emotionally wise, because logically I hear everything you say and it makes total sense. And I'm hearing for you want to share and just share your experiences. So there isn't really like any pressure for me to support or help. It's just being able to listen. So yeah, that would be my answer.
Tom?
I forgot what the question was.
How are you feeling hearing what I shared?
I don't feel much because we've talked about it before, so I feel like I'm hearing stuff I already like know, but maybe to well, it feels like we've explored it quite a bit in different ways. Like outside this group.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like it feels familiar.
Yeah, I feel like contrast to what Jake said about like what the point of the support group is to support somebody. But if that person doesn't need support, then it just feels like I'm just sharing, but there's no support needed.
Yeah. I think that's a very hard dynamic in groups. How do you balance the necessity of help? Like some people might be desperate for help and like really need it. Like I've definitely had group members where like this person's problems are more intense than other people's problems. And it's like, how do you balance that in the group? I think that's a very hard thing. Ultimately, it depends on what you guys want.
Well, I feel like you gave Anne a bunch of options, like directions
Yeah.
we could go in. So I'm curious, like, is there... does any of those resonate?
I'm thinking that it's not true that I don't need support on this. There is a certain level of
Yes.
acceptance of my situation.
I would label it
But-
defeat, but
Yes, correct. So now I'm thinking, what do I need support with? Like, ideally, if I don't accept the situation, how would I like this to change? I really want to heal this soon. I've been seeing other people live life very just exciting. They have a life that they find exciting to live. In like, if there's an apocalypse, I would still want to live is where I would like to be in my head. Yeah. So I can talk about your question, like how did I learn to survive? Hopefully, after you have more information, you can help me unlearn that.
sure, maybe. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am
So-
curious, like what growing up was like.
It was hard and normal at the same time. So I'm Vietnamese. Growing up here, the culture is child abuse is a culture, and it's beating kids, like yelling at them, screaming, comparing them to animals. Very normal behaviors for adults here to talk to kids. And yeah, that's not just at home, but also at school, neighbors, family members, just strangers. Even in the language, it's baked in that if somebody
Jeez.
is older than you, even if just a year, you have to use a different pronoun to address them that implies respect. And so that also implies like whatever this person who's older than me says, I have to listen and obey. And we're rewarded for obedience. So it's normal in that starting kindergarten, you are rated on how obedient you are, like week to week, month to month. And that's part of like your academic success, like how it's being determined is your marks on subjects and also your obedience.
This is quite the traumatizing culture. I've heard a lot of
Yeah.
cultures. This one's pretty traumatizing. Like that's impressively traumatizing. Like to reward someone for obedience and abuse to be like baked into the culture. Like, wow.
I think it's extra depressing for me, and why I feel some sort of acceptance of this is I've tried voicing my thoughts on child abuse in Vietnam, and I get a lot of hate for it. It's very controversial. People
Yeah.
feel it makes sense that kids need to be beaten into discipline to listen. So I'm hoping it's not going to happen here.
I think I find discipline to be often used as a justification for my abuse. So you're undisciplined, that's why I'm abusing you. This is a you problem. If you just corrected your behavior, I wouldn't have to beat you.
And I would like to say I can assure it's not happening from my side. It's like illegal in my country, so I can promise you it wouldn't happen. Like, I can't assure that other people behind closed doors, but I follow the rules and it's illegal in my country. Just to give you perspective.
So I feel a decent amount hearing this. I'm curious. I know you've talked about it with Tom before, but I'm curious, like, just what you guys are feeling hearing this.
I feel quite angry
that's
and
one.
also like protective.
I would say I feel a lot of different layers, so it depends on what kind of layer I should share, and I'm not sure which one of it. But to match the layer Tom shared, I would say, I guess I would say the same as like, I feel no, I guess I'm not sure. I'm confused. I'm confusing myself. I'm just feeling a lot of emotions. I don't know where to take it from here.
I'm trying to get clarity on what I'm feeling. I think it's just an overwhelming sadness. Or an all-encompassing sadness. Like, it's just like, there's just a layer of like, this isn't okay. And when I think about a person like becoming an adult and trying to heal it, it's like, yeah, there's just so much sadness, so much, yeah, really hurtful. Which I'm okay feeling those feelings, so you don't have to like panic.
I think I'm ready to share now. So for me, there, like if I put myself in the situation, I would feel angered and scared, and I would think that I would go into a phone response, which I think is the purpose of the situation. Hearing it, like hearing you share, makes me feel like I want to support you because it sounds like a hard and tough situation. So I am feeling angry on your behalf, and yeah, I guess it would be frustration and anger for your situation. Also filled with sadness, like deep sadness for the experience. Like I want to give you a hug and just cry with you. I'm not sure how you feel about it, but that's what I'm feeling.
Finding it interesting how acceptance is actually not good sometimes. It did. So I noticed that when I was telling you that I didn't feel anything. I was just stating fact. And after, when you side with me, then that's when the feelings come. And it's the feeling of like, see, I was not like wrong for feeling anger or sadness about that situation. Yeah.
Yeah. I think when violation is like such a common point in childhood, that emotion is incredibly difficult to cope with. And it almost has to become a fact that you do not have safety.
Yeah. I'm finding my brain trying to not make this about me, but also about other Vietnamese kids and like adults like me who've had that experience.
Interesting. You have a very like reliable part of yourself.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I understand. That probably makes no sense. The way, like, there's a part of you that you can really rely on for information.
I understand it as I feel confident with the information I have.
Yeah, like I'd expect you to be more fractured.
Yes. This is
But you
part
like
of that
yeah.
healing thing. I've learned to when I had nothing, it's still very easy for other people to change my mind, to just gaslight me. I will change my mind. But part of when I started therapy and counseling, the only thing I could do, because people wouldn't let me talk about anything other than how I'm feeling right now, what's happening in my mind, and people would like constantly validate that. So it gives me the feeling that whatever happens in my brain that I'm telling you right now is okay.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I think you how I word that realization when I had it is all emotions are valid, and that is like an inherent truth, or all emotions are true. You cannot debate what I'm feeling. I am feeling hurt. The justification as to why it's hurt, that's a different thing. But I am feeling this. You cannot be like that, just cannot be debated.
Yes. People will try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm grateful for everyone who has added to that experience of like validating me to kind of tip the scale, because before that, everybody debated me, made me feel like I was wrong for feeling that way. Um, I was thinking I wouldn't be able to tell you this if we were speaking Vietnamese. There's this layer of separation that gives me the safety of like, yeah, like I'm thinking people who understand the language we're speaking will mostly be on our side.
Yeah, I imagine healing for you is going to be incredibly terrifying.
Because
A lot of bad things have happened, and it sounds like you've kind of to survive, they've kind of been like distanced.
can you reword that?
Sure. So this could also just be incorrect. I think there's like I don't know, you could have a lot of memories that spawn a lot of hurt, but that hurt isn't really accessible. And that hurt becoming accessible, I imagine, is terrifying because there is a lot of it. It isn't just this one event, it's like a coding around your entire childhood. It's like this fact of reality that kind of doesn't really get felt.
Yes.
Hmm.
And no. As in so part of like the like therapy and coaching is whenever I feel in my mind, I'm like you said, there's a lot of hurt that wasn't felt. So now I'm feeling it. But like every time I do it, I can do a little bit at a time. And with that amount of hurt, I'm going to have to feel it for a very long time until I reach the end, all the feelings that weren't felt. That's why it felt like maybe it's not doable in my lifetime. Unless I dedicate like a few years just to cry.
Yeah. I think, well, this is an interpretation. If you do feel all of that, it puts the little safety that you have gained at risk.
You make statements that I just don't know. I think I need more information. You can't just make blanket statements like that.
What does are you connected at all with your intuition? Sorry, that's another one. Oops.
Not following.
Yeah, I ask questions based on subtext, and if you don't just like get the subtext, it's really hard to understand why I'm asking questions.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just show my hand. So to get my questions, there tends to be like a intuition component. Like what like an example is like, are you sad? And if you think about it, you might say no. But your like gut, your intuition says yes. Like your instinctive answer is yes.
Then
Does
the
that
answer
make any
is
sense?
no. I don't have good intuition.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think you do and you don't. Like you can trust yourself, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. I think because it's new, I only started having that, you said, like, reliable part of me. Just maybe 3 years now. So I can notice when the intuition is like, hey, there's a thing. But I still have to consciously decide what to do with that. To like just go back to my defaults and ignore it or do something about it, which takes more energy.
I'll say something, and then we'll like just do a check-in / check-out, like how's everybody feeling? But give me a second. So just to clarify, did you want further information on why I asked the healing process is probably going to be terrifying? Is that the thing you wanted more information on? Okay.
Yes.
How often do you break down?
Like uncontrollably?
Yeah.
Very rarely. Maybe twice in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I think so. If I'm looking at some of the data points, a constant amount of abuse, being overwhelmed with emotion and like crying, only happening twice, there's probably much more emotion there.
So I asked, like, in breakdown uncontrollably, I've done twice, as in, like, I didn't know even why I had
Ah,
such
I see
strong
what you mean.
feelings.
Okay.
But I do consciously just cry and, like, think about things and feel it pretty
Mm,
regularly now.
interesting. I don't think I have enough data to explain stuff. I need to ask a bunch more questions.
Hmm.
I'm just following my intuition, so my intuition could definitely be wrong. But yeah, I'm missing context somewhere.
Hmm.
Which isn't your fault. That's just we haven't had enough time to explore it.
Yeah.
Okay. How's everyone feeling?
I can go first. So at the beginning of the session, I had an idea that the way I usually get support is from I bring a problem and then you help me reflect and ask questions and then we'll find a way out. And right after this, I now feel like another way I get support is, and I don't like this at all, that I share whatever I have to share and then you validate me. So I get the space to just feel the thing. And that is helpful. Pam or Tom?
Can I go first, Pam?
Hmm? I am feeling confused, but in a good way. So, I would describe it as like I'm confused because I feel like I've never experienced this kind of situation before. And in a good way, it's like it makes me think and ponder upon how I experienced this situation. And that I'm really grateful for. Because, it it is new to me and it gives me a lot of new perspectives that I've never said before, experienced before. So like it broadens my horizon, and that's really helpful to me as well. Yeah. So to answer the checkout question, I'm feeling confused and grateful at the same time.
Mm. My mind's comparing a lot, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Comparing your experience with mine?
Hmm.
That seems normal. That's what brains do.
Yeah, but it activates the whole like, oh, what am I complaining about thing.
Can you maybe describe how the feeling is in your body?
Mm, like, tingly all over.
Can I ask a question? How does it resonate if I said it could maybe be guilt or shame?
That makes sense. Jake, do you want to do a checkout?
Sure. Yes. Let me think. Let me feel nothing. I feel mostly good. Yeah, I feel like I am missing context with Anne's situation. Like I feel like there were some things I like clearly got, and I got how she would feel about them. And then there's other things I'm like, I want to ask more questions, and I am worried of. Interesting. Yeah, I think I'm worried slash scared that uh, there will be some type of misunderstanding, and that will somehow hurt me. So, but overall, about the session, I feel good. I really like. How do I word this? I like clients who have a lot of trauma. They're like the most fun to work with, in my opinion. Um, like, like just things feel so much like simpler than clients who don't have a bunch of like clear trauma like that. When the trauma is like very not clear, it gets really hard. But I'm not diagnosing you with trauma anyway. I'm just validating that experience. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I just
Interesting.
appreciate your authenticity.
Okay. Feels like maybe you like those like clients with more trauma because you can relate rather than as in like it's easier to understand for you.
Yeah, it's much easier to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just more interesting to explore like these like fundamental questions of like why am I alive? Like I think that's just an interesting question. Let's explore it.
Because me as a coach, I don't like people who have trauma like me because I don't know how to solve my problems. I don't know how to solve yours. I can't make sense of it. It's too much. So when there's less trauma, I work better with. I understand more.
Interesting. How did you feel about the session?
My intuition says I don't like it. But well, there's a lot of things I don't like. That's where usually my brain goes. Is like, well, I wanted to go with Tom, and then I ended up sharing. It's not necessarily helpful for other people. It was kind of helpful to me. I feel like this is like a start. And throughout, also Tom and Pam didn't get to participate, so I didn't like that. And then at the end, it's interesting, but also that like for Tom, like somehow I'm not like taking responsibility for like making you feel that way. But I can see like the dynamics is how in groups when somebody shares something, it triggers different things in other members, and it could make it harder for them to share. Yeah.
Any thoughts about any of the checkouts?
That kind of sounds like you have thoughts.
No, I'm curious if anyone has a response. If no one has a response, then that's it. Everything's chill. Cool.
I have a short
Or if
one
you want to
that is
respond later.
Just thank you for sharing and being authentic. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I second that.
Yeah.
Hi, third.
My fourth.
Got it. Cool. So that's the stream, or that's the video, or whatever. All right.
Well, so
There we
this is
go.
where, like, Jake, did you want to do any kind of, like, teaching, or I don't know if there are any questions?
Yeah. Do you
So,
want to
like,
like
thinking
learn about anything?
Of questions to ask you as a coach? Is that what you meant, Tom?
Either that or if there's anything, like, relevant to the topic, like, maybe, I don't know if you have any thoughts on, or, like, general stuff about, like, processing emotions or, like, dealing with trauma. Those are some things that could be relevant.
The more clarity you have on what you're feeling, the easier it is to process everything. It's hard to process, or it's hard to heal from something like an ambiguous damage source. Like for me, when I things that feel really validating for me are when people they like hit a particular damage source of the trauma. So like when one of the coaches I know first used the word violation and he describing my experience, I'm like, oh, I completely agree. I don't know why, but that word fits, which helped me process. So that would be like one thing. Just the more clear you are about what happened and labeling it appropriately, like labeling neglect appropriately, labeling abuse, all that stuff, that will inherently heal you a bit.
Makes sense. I've been trying to figure out why reflective listening is healing. Is because you get those words from other people to find which one that is.
Yeah. Reflective listening is good for multiple reasons, but one of them is like a person can like you don't know words you don't know. So if someone like gives you a word and you're like, "Oh, I never thought of that." Like, yeah.
And then what do you do when you're working with clients who are really alexithymic?
It depends. Are they willing to play ball or not?
Can you give us both versions?
If the person's willing to like try, then I'm really good with that. Like just so how do you do that though? How do you work with someone who is willing to explore their emotions? Yeah, you just ask questions. And if they don't know, I would gently ask. I call it like patting my blows because I can be very brutally honest, or like I could just like blunt. That's the word, not brutally honest. I can be very blunt, but I would gently say like, "So what do you think about that?" Or like, how does that feel?" In like more of a playful sense. But like if they're willing to explore the emotional stuff. So if they're like, I don't know how that feels. Cool. You want to think about it real quick? Like, that's what I would do. If there's like they're not willing to play and there's a lot of like I don't know, and they're like a scared, like they're just really scared and they're not willing to even approach their own emotions, that's a whole different problem. That's pretty difficult. Because their problem is they aren't comfortable feeling their own emotions. So me being present amplifies their lack of safety. So it becomes really hard. Like there's a lot of ways you can crack it, but it's really person dependent. Like you can crack it with just a real solid validation. Like, dude, that hurts. And sometimes I will just like shatter that facade or that like mask. Another way is you can just go meta and like, bro, I don't know what the hell you want from me. Like this is hard. Like I'm trying, but things just aren't hitting, and like I don't even know how to make them hit. This is like really hard for me. Yeah, you can just roll with it. It just depends. Really, really person dependent.
I have a question for Tom. So in my mind on this topic, feeling the feelings is separate from being able to know what that is. Yeah. Is that for you too, or is kind of go hand in hand?
I think if I can allow myself to feel something, then I can figure out what it is. It's when it's like semi-suppressed, that's where it's kind of blurry. So it's just like I feel some vague physical discomfort. It might be pretty intense, but it doesn't have any color. So then I have to like think about the situation and think about like what would, like logically, what would make sense for me to feel. And then that's what I would say instead of like it doesn't come from intuition. It's just like, this is the logical emotion here and I feel something, so it's gotta be that.
Yeah, my guess there is you're either numb or triggered. One of those two. Or activated, whatever word you want to use there. Yeah, if that's the case, it's really hard. If you're triggered, that's one problem. If this person's just numbed, that's a whole different problem.
Can you say more about what it means to feel triggered in that kind of context?
You're very in the present, but in a very bad way. Like, you are... I'll just, like, share my experience being triggered. There's an overarching oh no. It's like very, very physical anxiety. I'm panicking. I'm also trying to keep a mask up so this person doesn't see my panic and then like further hurt me. Yeah. Overall, being triggered manifests in different ways. I'll put a little thing in our chat that you can put in the... Well, I don't even know if you can put this in the Twitch chat because it's a PDF. Where is it? Yeah, if you're triggered and you're in a fight response, that's much different than being triggered in a freeze response. They feel different. That's stolen from a Patrick T. Hand video, by the way. I wish I knew how to show it to Discord. I can't. Or show it to the chat.
If you do you have the video? We could link it
It's
in the description for our video when we upload it.
true. I shall. Yeah. Like if you're triggered in a fight response, that's different than being triggered in a fawn response, which is triggered like which is different from being triggered in a flight response. Like it just feels different. All of them are like, oh no, though. Like there's a general sense of like I am in the present, but it's not like just be in the present. Like it's much different.
I'm trying to understand. Not understand, but I'm trying to put myself into Tom's shoes when there's like a lot of feelings come up and then your mechanism just shut it off. And then yeah, I think I can relate to that in like when I'm triggered or when the emotions hit me. I can't talk. I can't explain to you. I can't say. I need time to like ride it out, and then after. Otherwise, if I have to explain to you right away, yeah, I either have to shut it off, so I can talk to you, or I can't. I will just say whatever. So it feels like maybe I do need like a safe space to actually feel it over here before I tell you about it.
Yeah.
This is where, like, watching last week's video, I realized that I like do stuff to regulate the feelings so that I can talk about it. So like sometimes sipping water isn't because I'm thirsty, but like that's a way to lower the stress, or like the smiling or laughing, or like any kind of fidgeting.
Yep.
Or like if it were worse than like if I hurt myself somehow, that would turn it off as well. And then I can talk about it.
This is a completely side thing. I thought about this a while ago, like maybe like an hour ago. But Pam said something that I was going to say in the session. But sometimes, well, I find this was a pretty constant problem for me. But the further I empathized, the more triggered I became. Like I didn't know, and I wasn't safe not knowing, which caused bad things to happen in me. So now, like my anxiety is ramping because I don't know how to help this person. I'm supposed to like just things compounded very quickly. So I find that to be a fairly common problem with coaches as well.
So is that about the content of what you're talking about that's triggering, or the like I don't know how to help and being in that position, or something else?
It depends. For me, it was about me not knowing, and me not knowing tended to lead to bad things in my childhood. But the trigger point changes for people. Usually, like it could also relate to being smart. Like, oh, I'm smart. People know things. I'm not smart. Oh no! And now your whole identity is at risk because this person is sharing their emotions. It changes.
I had a question I've been meaning to ask you, Jake, because you mentioned just once that even when you're triggered, you can still coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that like? How do you do that?
I have a lot of practice being triggered and still needing to navigate the dynamic. Otherwise, I will get further violated. So it's like I have a very good system for performing, regardless of my like trigger point.
How did you develop that?
to survive. I'll give you like one example. So when I was a kid, I would be like getting screamed at, and if I show further emotion, I will get like beat. So I'm like, okay, I need to put this emotion aside. Like, I literally need to fragment it off because bad things happen if I don't fragment it right now. And then in coaching, I kind of just, it's just using that mechanism. I don't use it nearly as much anymore. It definitely still comes up, though. I have some clients who clearly trigger me. And the reason for triggering is different, but yeah.
I think the wording you used was, if you're triggered, you can still be helpful. So that was interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good at being helpful. I'm a very useful tool. Regardless of the functionality or if the tool is like structured well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was interested in that because that's also one of the things I'm not good at. Is I notice when I'm triggered, then I can't be as helpful as I want to be, and I have my way of regulating. Yeah, which lately I haven't been using, because then, yeah, but like I shake, just like let it pass.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not as useful as I would like to be at that moment. I'm useful. I'm just not like it's like half my HP has been like barred, or like half my mana bars is gone. Like I just can't access it. And usually what happens is I'm trying to reactivate my empathy, because once I can empathize with the person, everything gets much easier. But I'm like triggered and I'm like searching. I'm like, where is it? And then once I find it, like the session tends to go well after that. There's like a ramp, and then I'm like, oh fuck, and then I'm like grasping, and then I grab it, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's working again, and then my anxiety goes down.
So then when you're coaching, how much space do you leave for yourself?
So just a blanket statement, you probably shouldn't model your coaching after me. I have a lot of trauma that's been it's like infected my coaching. How much spacing? It depends on the client. If this client is safe, I probably won't get triggered regardless. But if the client is not safe and this person's like I had a client on last week where the very start of the session he was like, okay, so what do we do?
Do you want to say that on stream, because confidentiality and
yeah
stuff?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I told him at the end of the session, like, why are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it triggered me before I could even like have any greetings. It was like, what are you doing? Or what are we doing here? So like, I don't know what to do. What are we doing? And he like dumped a lot of pressure on me at the very start of the session. Yeah, I forget the question I was answering, but I also know Raymond put something in the chat, but I haven't read it yet.
Oh, I didn't. I can't click on it because then it will show up on the recording.
I'll read it then. You read it, and
yes, I can read. He said, "Don't know if I can ask the question." Yes, you can. But after Anne shared more about her trauma as being raised in Vietnam, Jake said it made sense that she does not often uncontrollably let out her emotions. I'm curious to how that makes sense.
Well, point one was there was a misunderstanding there, because what I was thinking of was the scenario of the emotions just kind of like you getting validated, and kind of like what happened with Tom last week or last session, where there was like he was talking about like on the precipice of like a point, and like he could like have a breakdown. Like I was thinking about like that point where like someone says something and then it crits and then you like break down. That's when I was thinking of uncontrollably. That's what I was thinking about. How that makes sense is in a highly abusive systems, you losing control tends to lead to further abuse. So there's like a shield, and then if you break down, there's like an intense panic intense shame. You're exposed, you feel humiliated. Like there's a lot of other emotions that start coming up, which make it really hard. Like you just don't enter that territory because all that stuff.
Yeah. The one time I remember clearly that I like quote out like broke down uncontrollably was way, way, way after. Yeah, but when I was little, there was no breaking down.
Yeah.
Allowed.
You're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Like there's really no room. Like a child learns very effectively, like, in general. But when they're young, when a person is young and they're getting abused, and like they will realize, oh, there's no room for my emotions. I just have to live. Any other questions?
Yes. Yeah, that makes so much sense. 5 head? Don't know what that means.
It isn't forehead. Forehead is like the obvious one. Like, like, do your dishes forehead. That's so simple. 5 head's like, whoa.
I've never heard of that before.
It's a Twitch thing, I think. I don't know.
I'm out of questions.
Any other? Cool.
Me too.
Cool. I guess that's it then. I'll see you all next week then.
See you next week.
Peace.
Thank you for watching. Again, if you'd like to join a support group similar to this, you can join us through our website, questoflife.org. And if you'd like to support us with our mission, please consider donating and or volunteering. You can also do that via our website so that we can run more free groups for more people. Thanks.